Hey guys, it's Kathryn here, and if you want to see how I turned this set into this spooky season set, then be sure to stay tuned with us. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe. My name is Kathryn. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I'm a lot more active there. And be sure to check me out on Patreon, because I'm trying to do that shit too, you know? So this is my set before. I'm just doing a little analysis, taking a look at those poor cuticles. So I'm going to start by cleaning the undersides, the deep crevices, everything about it with my trusty nail brush. Check me out, a little ASMR moment, you know, just a little soda fizz, soda pour, you know. That really is so satisfying though. Okay, so taking a look at this set, I mean, clearly they used to be cute. Too many layers of top coat on top of the rhinestones, and those iridescent butterflies have seen their day. So I'm just going to pop open my little nail kit, and then I'm going to close it as soon as possible because that's a mess. We'll just close that right up, pretend that never happened. How about that, guys? Okay, quick pause for my ninja skills. Little replay, slow-mo. How impressive. But basically, I'm just using these cuticle cutters to pop off any rhinestones. They were kind of hard to get off because of all the layers of top coat, but we did do it. And now that we're naked, we're going to move on into our Efile. I'm going to link this one down below, but I'm still doing a little bit of research on which one I want to recommend to people. But I'm taking a safety ceramic bit. This one's got some nice teeth on it so it can grind through some product because I do have polygel on my nails at the moment. I do want to do a more in-depth Efile video, but at the moment I'm still getting super comfortable in making sure that I got the correct terminology. So I think I'm going to practice a few more times, do a few more of these tutorials before I start giving actual information, especially when it comes to technique. But I am using the ceramic bit so that I don't create as much heat because I am trying to file down the polygel on my nails until it's almost nothing. I want to use them almost like a tip. So next I'm switching to a super fine grit safety bit, and I'm using this just to get a little bit more in the corners because I did have a lot of flooding with my last application. I was trying out a new polygel and it moved a little bit. So I'm using this to clear up any of that, and I am going to turn it down to super low RPM, maybe about 5,000, and I'm going to use this to kind of buff up the cuticles and kind of make sure that everything around the nail is also very smooth. I'm also going to switch to this little tiny brush tool just to clean up any areas of dust so that then I can take a really close look and see if there's any lifting, because lifting will have to be taken care of before applying another layer on top. To take care of any lifting, I'm actually going to switch to this flame bit, and I'm just going to use this guy to take care of anything I might see. Like that, right there. No pressure, just popped right off. That has to be taken care of, otherwise when you put product on top, it's just going to end up cracking and lifting again. One thing about flame bits or anything with a tip like that is you want to keep them as flush to the nail as possible. You want to prevent angling them down because you can end up creating holes in the nail or over filing areas. So just keep that in mind. I'm still learning as well. Just keep that information in mind. Now that we've used our flame bit to kind of clean up any issues and separate the eponychium from the nail plate, I'm now going to switch to the ball bit, and I'm going to use this to clean up anything that looks like dead, dry skin that we don't need. You want to avoid going over in one area for too long, but again, I'm using very minimal pressure, and this is on a super, super low RPM, maybe 5,000. Next, I'm going to shape and file the nail with a nail file somewhere between 100 and 150 grit, and then I'm going to buff the surfaces of the nails as well, using a buffer that's probably around the same grit. Now that these babies are ready to go, I cannot stress it enough, alcohol your nails before any gel applications, ever. This is going to keep anything from looking funky. If you ever feel like you've used gel polish but it separates or does anything weird, you need to clean your nail plate. It's going to get rid of any oils, dirt, dust, anything that's going to keep your product from adhering. I'm just using the Bella Moda foundation for this. I'm just getting my nails prepped in order to do a polygel application on top. So now these babies have been microwaved. I've been sure to clean up any flooding in the cuticles. I'm going to hit them with a little bit of alcohol. We're going to move on to polygel. Today I'm using the Beetles Clear Polygel instead of the Macart, and I'm actually going to use this with just pure isopropyl alcohol as my slip solution. So putting a bead of that on top of each finger, we're going to go to town, just sculpting away and trying to get it as smooth as possible. And when I say it takes me a second to hand sculpt polygel, I mean it takes me a second. So why don't we just zen out together? Alright, so we're going to microwave those, and then when we pull them out, spritz them with a little bit of alcohol and take a look at how much shaping needs to be done. So after adding the polygel, I noticed that I made my coffin shape a little bit more almond round. So I just wanted to go in, make sure that the sides are really straight, and make sure that the tip is very, very, very flat. I'm also going to use this hand file to rough up the surface of the nail, but not too close to the cuticle because we don't want to nick the cuticle or that healthy skin. In order to finish up the filing job, I am going to switch to my really soft safety bit on my Efile and get a little bit closer to those cuticles. Another optional step, which might not be optional if you had a really bad application job, is basically just to switch to a small cone type bit and clean up the undersides of the nail. This makes sure that your C curve looks really clean and you don't have any scraggles that could irritate you. A few last minute filings just to make sure that everything is even. And our babies are finally ready. Look at those cute little fake natural nails. Adorable. So once again, the first step to any decorating of any gel nail is going to be that base polish. So I'm going to go back in with that, make sure that they are nice and even and clean. And I'm going to build up my thickness a little bit here because after this, it's just going to be the design at the tip and then a top coat. Now that we're microwaved and we've done a little Insta scrolling, I'm actually going to mix up a custom blood color. I did this by mixing about 2 parts red to 1 part clear to maybe a 1/4 part black, just for a little bit of that gooey darkness. Unfortunately, while I was filming this, I totally thought I was in focus, and clearly I wasn't. So I tried to move around my set, tried to do a few things, until finally I just decided that it's time to move on with the look or you guys won't get any tutorial at all. So I'm using this custom color with a basic paintbrush, and I'm just starting by painting the tips and then creating my little tiny drips, which I will perfect a little bit later. Just gives me an idea of how organic my drips are looking and if I need to switch them up so they don't look too uniformed. Keep in mind, I'm using a regular nail polish in the middle of gel polishes. I don't recommend this, but if you do wait for them to completely, and I mean completely dry, then you can get away with it, but it is not going to be as strong and sturdy as if you can just do this with gel. So if you have that option, I would give that a shot. If not, I made this work, not saying you should too though. The last steps here to perfect my little drips is I'm actually taking a nail dotting tool and I'm using this to create those super rounded bottoms, and I did use a little acetone on a small cleaning brush to make sure that any little extras were cleaned up. Alright guys, so I did finish this look with the Beetles top coat, but I didn't catch that on camera. And actually after taking these pictures, I did end up adding a little extra top coat with that nail dotter tool just over the drips to give it that 3D effect, like you can kind of see here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough. And be sure to stay tuned for the makeup look that's going to come with this. It's spooky season. I'm in this shit, and I want you to be in this shit with me. So be sure to subscribe, follow, and I will see you next time. Hey, it's Kathryn. I'm calling because I think she called me. She asked me to call her back.